Hello everyone, welcome. Today we're starting tour prep stuff. It is June 12th, so I officially have less than a month until my first tour date. I'm going to the LA and Seattle shows, and I have done nothing yet for tour prep. I have a bunch of ideas of things I want to do and get ready before tour, and I just haven't started yet, and the weeks are dwindling by, so I need to get my butt in gear because it's gonna be here before I realize it. One of those things is I wanted to decorate my light stick. I have been thinking about what I wanted to do, and I have some ideas brewing, and I think I finally landed on an idea. I'll pop up on my screen right now. I basically want to rhinestone and like bedazzle my light stick, and I want to change the colors so it's black and green to match the Maniac Tour theme that they got going on. As you can see, I kind of have started to experiment and practice a little bit because I've never rhinestoned anything, and I was a little bit nervous, so I was doing some practicing, seeing like how I liked colors and placements and whatnot. So it's definitely going to be a learning experience, but I think it'll be fun. What my plan is nothing is going to be permanent because I can't quite commit to that. I want to preserve my light stick, so I'm not going to be painting it black. What I'm actually going to be doing is using this vinyl, and I'm going to be covering my entire light stick in this, so once tour is over, or once I decide maybe I want to like redecorate it or just want to get it back to its original form, I can peel this off and it's as brand new again. This is just some removable Cricut vinyl that I got from my craft store. And then for the rhinestones, these aren't actually like real rhinestones. They're actually like the diamonds that you use for like diamond paintings. But these were a lot cheaper than like normal rhinestones, and they also came in a bigger quantity than just like rhinestones, so that's why I got these. And honestly, for like the black, which you can kind of hardly see unless it's like reflecting in the light, you wouldn't be able to tell much of a difference between normal rhinestones and these, so that's why I'm using these. This video is going to be just like a little bit of like a time lapse. I don't really want to like call it a tutorial because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to be figuring it out along the way, but I did want to like document the process of me decorating my light stick because it's like a fun prep for tour. So yeah, what I'm gonna start off with first is I'm gonna cover the entire thing in vinyl. I think for today, my goal today is just to finish the bottom portion. So I'm gonna cover this first in the vinyl and then start to rhinestone it, and then we'll tackle the rest of it another day. So let's get started. Okay, so I got the bottom half covered with vinyl and all cut up so it's nice and clean. It honestly wasn't that difficult. This is what I wasn't worried about. It's when I get up to like these areas that I'm worried about, like it's gonna be tricky and finicky to cover. So next we're gonna apply the stones, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use E6000 glue because that's what I already had on hand, and I've read that this is a pretty alright glue to use for this kind of project. I have this old top loader that was ripped and broken before, so I'm just using this to put the glue onto it, sort of like a palette. And then I have this, I found this random just like straw, and this is what I'm going to use to pick up the glue and to put a thin line of it on the base. And for picking up the stones, same thing. Usually there's like tools for stuff like this, but I'm just going to be using my pencils, because when I was testing placing the stones last night, I found that I could use like this eraser part to pick up the gems, or I have a little bit of glue right at the end of the tip and it picks up the gems really well. So that's what I'm going to be using to place them. This is the part where I don't really know how much I'm going to be in frame, because I want to be up close to make sure I'm placing them where I need to, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I just finished the silver stone bottom layer. This gap kind of bugs me, but I need a place, that's where like the wrist strap goes, so it needs to be uncovered, but I think it looks pretty well. It's not perfect by any means, but I think it'll be okay. And worst comes to worst, I hate it, and I can just rip this off, like, and no one even knows. So that took me about 10 minutes, so this is definitely going to be quite a project. For now, we're done with the silver gems, and it's time to do the black ones now. Whew, I just finished and I am so happy. I was worried that there was going to be a little bit of a gap between the last two rows, but it all worked out. I think it looks so good. It took me almost about 4 hours to do just the handle. I can only imagine what the rest of it is gonna take me. Let me clear this off really quick because I want to see how it looks screwed on. Whoa, it looks so cool. I definitely think it's gonna look really, really good once it's finished. So yeah, the next thing we're gonna work on is we're gonna put vinyl all the way up to the rest of this, and then we're gonna continue the black stones all the way up. I think I'm gonna do a ring of green around the button, and then the little atlas is gonna be green. This will probably be the silver, and then we'll do the inside compass as well. So I still have some work cut out for me, but the first chapter is finished and I could not be happier. I was feeling a bit discouraged because I feel like it looks a little bit messy, but I think I just have to clean up the glue residue just a little bit and I'll be super, super happy. It feels really sturdy, like it feels like these stones aren't really going anywhere. So, man, I'm real happy with that. All right, we're gonna call it a night though. My back has just about had it. It had it about an hour ago and I need to go to bed. So I will see you when we come back to do the next step. Okay, hello, I am back for another section. Today's goal is to just finish vinyling the rest of the light stick to put all the vinyl everywhere that it needs to. I'm not sure if we're gonna do any rhinestoning today. I'm gonna see how far along I get time-wise, and then we'll go from there. But for sure, I need to finish vinyling everything else, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay, I'm not really sure how much of that I'm gonna put in there. I stopped filming really early on because I really had to get in here and like do some surgery and just make it work. It was so much harder to put this vinyl on here than I thought it would be. If I'm being honest, I'm gonna just do a little bit of a 360. It's not very clean and I'm like not the happiest with it, but it was so hard to just like cover everything and make everything as smooth as possible that I think I did as much as I could, and it is all covered now. And I honestly think once all the crystals are on it, you're not going to be able to tell. It's just a base. It's just so that I can glue stuff onto it so it doesn't have to look super pristine and nice. I wish it did, but I mean it's gonna be covered up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So the last thing we have to do for vinyl is cover the compass, because I'm also going to be putting crystals on the compass, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you how to open the globe, because you can take this out and do some fun stuff with it. It is just a little bit tricky getting it open the first time, so I thought this would be a good way to show you. So the easiest way to do it is you're gonna put your hands inside and you're gonna look for the two notches that are on each side, and this is what is keeping the globe together. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to unpry the little notches. So it's gonna be sort of like a pulling down and out or down and towards you motion to try and unhook the little notch, and then you'll do the same thing to the other side. It is gonna feel a little bit like you're breaking it or like that it's gonna snap, but it's just like the tension of the notches. So you can put a little bit of force into it. It's not going to snap. You just have to go real nice and slow with it. I'm going to do it one more time without the compass to show you. So again, put your hands in. It's sort of like a up and away motion. And it just comes undone. The more that you open it, the easier it kind of is to open it. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a little guide for myself, and so I can cut it out on the vinyl, and hopefully this will be pretty easy. A lot easier than the base that I just did. So ta-da, that should work. I honestly think that this is looking so cool, and I love the all black. It almost makes me rethink like wanting to add the green, but I think adding the green would like really add a pop of color. But I kind of like the sleekness that the black is. I think it's turning out so cool. I actually really like it a lot more than I thought I was going to, but I'm getting so excited. Hello, so I'm back. My green gems finally arrived to me in the mail, and I'm very happy. They look so nice and sparkly. It's a dark green just like I wanted. The goal for tonight is to finish everything. I want to finish everything else that we need to. So that's basically finishing up the compass, finishing up the base, and then that'll be it. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna empty these into a little container so they're a little bit easier to handle. And then I'm just gonna get going. So, as you may be able to tell from my hands, there's been a little bit of a development. So you might have just seen that I had started to do this first row of the green rhinestones, and after I did them, I kind of sat here and was looking at it, and I felt like it got a little lost, even though it's like a brighter color than the black. And I think it's because I'm placing it on the black background instead of like a green background. So I went and got my green paint and just did a small section here to see if I liked it better. And I think I like it so much better. It's probably like really subtle, and maybe a little bit hard to tell, but I feel like having the green background behind the green gems just like pops it a little bit more. Like you can actually tell it's like green and nice and bright, whereas this is just like a bit more dull. And originally I was going to like paint the parts that were gonna have the green stones green, but I was like, maybe it'll just be like the stones will just be shiny enough that I won't have to do that. But now I know, definitely paint like your background the same color as your stones so it like matches really nicely. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna like take these off and then paint the rest of my light stick green where I'm gonna put the green stones, because I just think it looks so much nicer and it'll be a lot more like put together. So a little bit of a bump in the road, but I think in the long run it'll be so much better if we do that. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm placing the last stone. I am officially done. Everything is now covered. I'm so happy. That took so much longer than I had anticipated. Oh my gosh. I still need to do some cleanup work. There's still a lot of glue I need to get off a little bit, but the hardest part is over and I am so happy it's finished. As you saw, I went through one entire bottle of the black stones and there are 2,000 stones in here. So, and I basically went through almost all of the green rhinestones. There were like 1,400 in this, and I would assume there's maybe like 300 or 400. So there's probably over 3,000 crystals on the light stick right now, which is, it's crazy to think about. My back definitely feels like we placed that many. Last thing though, for the button, I was maybe originally gonna do green on the button, like do a circle of green like on the actual button, but I ended up finding an old earring that I just don't wear anymore and that's like been missing its partner for like years. I just had this random earring, so I decided to paint the stone because the stone was originally red, and I'm gonna use it to put on the button because look at how perfect! It's so perfect! It's gonna look so good too. I think that's like the perfect addition to place on there. Like, everything is just coming together. So I'm gonna glue this onto here, and then we're gonna assemble it, and we're gonna do the final reveal. Ta-da! Oh my goodness. This turned out way better than I could have ever anticipated. I just need to give myself a round of applause. This was such a challenging project, and I wanted to give up so many times, and my back hurt so much from doing this, but I am so pleased with the outcome that it all feels so worth it. I can't believe it. It looks beautiful. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if it still turns on. Oh, perfect. Could you imagine if after all of that it didn't turn on anymore? I would be so heartbroken. I do want to point out too that like this feels so much like heftier, and like it weighs more, probably because of all of the stones, but it feels like it has some like it feels like it has some like girth to it now. Like it's really like, you can tell the difference. I also want to say because of the stones, the compass doesn't really like spin anymore, like it kind of gets stuck. But honestly, that doesn't really bother me too much because I don't need it to spin. As long as it just stays upright, that I'm happy with that. But wow, I'm very, very pleased. I'm gonna take some close-up shots, some detailed shots, and maybe of it outside so you can see it a little bit better and closer, because I do want to show off my workmanship a little bit. I can't stop gushing about this. This is gonna be the best concert accessory. I'm very excited. I really dived headfirst into this project. I've never done anything like this, and I blew myself away, honestly. I have a sigh of relief that it's finally done too. Like, I'm so glad that I don't have to do this anymore. At least for now. But anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed. I tried my absolute best to film and time-lapse a lot of it, but there was just times I just had to like cut it and and just do a lot of it off camera because I needed to prioritize like being able to see it at a good angle myself in order to make sure it looked good in the end rather than filming. So I feel like a lot of the footage is like me veering out of frame a little bit, but hopefully the time lapses were like a little bit satisfying and enjoyable. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you also decorated your light stick for the concert and what you choose to do for it. It's coming up pretty quick. The US dates start in just a couple of days, which is very, very exciting. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you, and I will see you next time.